So I got my real estate license to have an edge with MLS so I could beat investors to the punch as a buyer. Little did I know, I can also make money, a lot of money selling.
Welcome back to the Massive Passive Cashflow Podcast. I'm Gary Wilson, your host. So glad to have you back listening to the show or watching if that's the case. We got a great guest today, Justin Hoffman, who I actually have known for quite some time. We've been in coaching together for probably close to 2 decades. And we just reconnected last summer up in Calgary, Canada, for a great mastermind group with 45 of the top best people in the real estate industry. So in any case, welcome aboard, Justin, man. I'm so glad you're willing to do this. I know you're busy, so I know we're lucky to have you. I really appreciate this,
No, Gary, I'm glad this worked out. I really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks a lot for it.
You got it, man. Well, first thing is, I just want to say congratulations on the Brewers. For people who are listening, you can't see this, but Justin's wearing his Brewers outfit, man. He got the ball cap, the jersey, the whole 9 yards. And over his shoulders, on one shoulder, he's got integrity. The other one's got ambition. Two motivational, inspirational posters. So everybody listen to this podcast. This is one you definitely want to listen. If you're driving, don't worry, we'll give you the show notes later. But if you're not driving, this is one you want to listen to and take notes on, because he's just like you and I. He's a broker up in Milwaukee. He knows how to work with investors. He's got a business that serves the broader audience. Got a lot of experience. And if you've never been to Milwaukee, I suggest you go, because it was one of my top 10 surprise cities when I went there. And we just talk about that, how much nicer it is. And I'm not knocking Chicago, but you're gonna find it a little bit nicer up in Milwaukee. We'll put it that way. So Joseph,
I can't disagree.
There you go. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind, give people a little bit of context, because, most of us didn't grow up saying, when I'm 5 years old, I'm going to be a real estate agent. We were going to be an astronaut or, a pilot or engineer or something like that. But what was it that got you into real estate brokerage? Was it investing, or was it just you thought, hey, I can make some money doing this? What was the inspiration?
Well, the inspiration, it really was investing. So I had a unique opportunity. My grandpa was a small investor in the inner city of Milwaukee. And growing up in the summer, 10 years old, my job was to go help paint the buildings, rip out the carpet, turn them over for a new tenant. In that process, I watched him knock on doors. They would open them about 4 inches, get caught by the chain, and they'd slide my grandpa cash. And he did that. And he had 2 8-unit buildings that were right across the street from each other. And I watched him do that, and I would paint, and I'd watch him collect rent. And I'm 10 years old, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the greatest job on earth. My grandpa just knocks on doors. People hand him cash. Life is amazing. So as a 10-year-old, I became an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old. He started to teach me a little bit about the business and the numbers, and he taught me how to run numbers. Well, I'm the 7th grade kid, 6th grade kid, and I'm looking in the real estate section, and I'm circling duplexes that have the best cash flow with the least amount of money out of my pocket. So I'm kind of the weirdo amongst my buddies, but it really got me going. He took me under his wing. I understood it. And when I got my real estate license when I was about 20 or 21, it was to become an investor. It was never to be a broker, never to run a team, never to sell thousands and thousands of homes like we have. Over 4,500 homes I've sold in our career now. But I wanted to be an investor. And now I became both. And I think that's a beautiful thing about real estate is, it's not a one-way stream. It's not a one revenue pillar. There's multiple pillars of revenue to this industry. You get to understand it. You get a feel for it. And then you get on podcasts with you and you get to teach other people, what you did. What mistakes you made, what you learned. And I think real estate will continue to be just like history, and it's going to repeat itself. We're going to see ups, we're going to see downs, we're going to see, rents explode, rents pull back. But I think if you look at the current climate of the economy, real estate is probably the best hedge against inflation, the best hedge against recession, bar none. And that's where my money goes. my spare money in particular, but I don't only sell it, I own it, I manage it. And it's become a huge reason that I can one day retire before most.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that too, because I started off investing too. In fact, I actually didn't respect agents back then when my first property was right out of college, man. Within 30 days, it was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom rancher in Virginia Beach, and bought it with my college roommate actually. And later on, we had a realtor help evaluate if we were going to sell it, and I felt like I know more than this person. So, in any case, fast forward, I eventually got my license to practice real estate, not to be a regular agent, just to do more investing. But it turned into me becoming an agent. I found out it's actually a great way to make money. I mean, it's easier. I'm not, believe me, I love all the investments I've had over the years, but this is easier. Building a business that focuses on real estate, I found it easier than the actual owning the real estate. Because like you, I had my son do the same thing. He was running around cutting grass, and he was running his own crew when he was 15 years old, painting and cleaning and stuff like that. He made more money than some of the guys that were adults that I was paying. But the thing is you and I both started off doing something that was very practical, hands-on, in the field. And I was lucky because Soc's dad, my roommate's named Socrates, his dad was the one that showed us this stuff. Then later on, I had another mentor named Gerhard Flugfelder, this old German guy, under his wing. And that's where I really learned the nuts and bolts of it.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. So in your area, you had your granddad. Well, what was the transition point between going from investing to getting your license? Was it out of frustration, or kind of unravel that a little bit, if you don't mind?
Well, no, I mean, it started. So I'm 20 years old, real wet behind the ears, no college education whatsoever. Right out of high school, I had my son when I was 19 years old, married at 20, daughter at 21. Life started real quick for me. I needed to figure out how to get paid. Okay. Diapers were even costly back then. So I got my real estate license to have an edge with MLS so I could beat investors to the punch as a buyer. Little did I know, I can also make money, a lot of money selling. And truthfully, the first house I ever showed as a licensed realtor, I sold and wrote an offer, scratched it right there on the kitchen counter. It took me like 2.5 hours. I had no idea what I was doing at 20, 21 years old, but we got that deal together. I got a commission check, and I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I made a few $1,000 in a couple of hours. I think I can do this as well as invest. So it was, I don't know if you want to call it the horse before the carriage or the carriage before the horse. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. I know I wanted to get into the real estate world as an investor. I did that via the world of real estate sales, and I accidentally became good at both. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is if you follow Robert Kiyosaki, and most people today know who he is and have read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I highly recommend the cash flow quadrant. In fact, I just moved into a new place, and I unloaded several hundred books. I've got the entire suite of Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. But the thing is one of the things he emphasizes is real estate investing really isn't the end game. It's the foundation upon which you can launch with a business. So if you look at the cash flow quadrant, you're either on the left is employee or self-employed, like a dentist or a chiropractor, or you're on the right side, business builder and or investor. Well, it's better to be on the right-hand side. In the investing fuels your business building, and your business building fuels your investing. And it's just an excellent way. So you're doing both, I did that for several years, really. So,
and it depends what you want. For me, massive passive cash flow like that. That's a great thing. But I also love massive equity positions, right? So the way I look at the way I'm built, and now I'm 44 years old. Okay. My kids are old. My kids are 20, we're going to be 25 and 22. My daughter is graduated. She's in Dallas, Texas, chasing her dream of being a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. My son graduated University of Alabama. He moved back home to Milwaukee, and now he's at year one of his law school with Marquette. And my kids are, I would say, are not off my dime. So I need more investments. I needed the stuff I did in my 20s is now paying massive dividends in my 40s. And it doesn't take 20 years, but I had the privilege of being able to pay for my kids' undergrad. I told my son, it's on you, buddy. You go to law school, you want to be smarter than your old man, it's going to cost you something. But I had the privilege of being able to take care of my kids' undergrad tuition out of state. Okay. And everybody knows who has kids in college. And if you don't, start saving now, because it is way more than you thought. And it will be way more in a few years. Yeah. But what I looked at, Gary, is my real estate sales team and my business. That is what I treated as my massive cash flow. Mm-hmm. My real estate investments now, granted, I have a formula and they make money. I make money on my real estate every month that I own, but I am more excited about the equity position of those properties, paying them down to zero, and then taking advantage of tax laws that allow deferment via a 1039 Starker exchange to start to catapult and upgrade into not just different parts of the country, but bigger properties that have bigger cash flows.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other thing too I like about having a lot of equity is when you can borrow against it.
Yeah. It's only important. That's the purpose.
Exactly. And that money, you're literally pulling money out. It's an alternative to receiving the capital. You're basically getting the capital, so you don't pay taxes on that money.
Correct. Big caveat.
Yeah. And yet when you pay it back, you get the tax write-off on the interest. It's just that's how I made my fortune. Literally, I built up a small portfolio, started borrowing against it, and it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. It was the machine feeding itself. So let's take this to current time. Here we are. We are out of the pandemic. We've seen prices go up through the roof. We saw interest rates go up. Now they're starting to, looks like they're leveling off and maybe coming back down. I feel like we're in really good. We have one of the strongest economies ever. Even if you load level it to other time frames in other countries, just can't. Look at the stock market. Good Lord, what's the barometer? Everybody that's crying to lose out there, I'm like, you're in the wrong game then, because the stock market is the biggest barometer there is, and it's pointing up. So I'm excited about the future. With what you're doing right now in your business, let's talk about how what you've learned apply to today's real estate world. Just a regular consumer looking to buy their own home. What's one of your favorite go-to techniques to either attract the people, get in the right house, negotiate the right deal, anything like that you can read about it in books, but it's different in the real world when you do it yourself. You just have all these nuances,
Yeah. So we jumped into in here, I will tell you that, and I looked at every transaction in which I've personally ever purchased had an attachment to some form of what I will call a distress sale. Now, there's many, many out there, and they went away, but they're still out there. Number one, they're still out there. You got to learn how to find them, and I'll talk about it. Most importantly, they're coming back.
Hey there, did you know you can join a free real estate mastermind session every Monday night? It's called Monday Night Live, and it kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm Gary Wilson, and every week I host this live class, joined by investor agents from across the country and around the world. And here's the best part: no selling, no recruiting, just pure, actionable real estate education. Every Monday, we cover everything from the basics to advanced strategies. We even bring in expert guests once or twice a month. Topics like how to buy property using crypto, how AI is reshaping the real estate landscape, what the metaverse and blockchain mean for real estate deals today. Whether you're a new investor or a seasoned pro, you'll walk away with real value, and you'll have the chance to ask questions live, connect with others, and expand your network. Sound good? Then head over to realestatewithgarywilson.com. Click the Resources tab, select Monday Night Live, and you'll find recent replays plus a full schedule. You can register for any upcoming session, even weeks in advance. And if you're watching this on social media, just check the video description for the direct registration link. I'll see you Monday night. Bring your questions, your notepad, and your drive to grow. I look forward to connecting with you.
You know, I wrote a book on short sales back in 2010 or 11. I mean, we did hundreds of those. We did hundreds of foreclosures. I had the Fannie Mae account. We had Wells Fargo, Bank of America. We had, you know, hundreds and hundreds of foreclosures. So I kind of had a cheat code, just based on my age, based on, you know, when the Great Recession and the housing crash happened. I was just in a real good position. I got lucky because I bought as much as I could afford, and the banks would borrow me, and I bought it, and today we're worth a lot. But for the average person that doesn't have that opportunity right in front of them, it's not a Great Recession. I don't know, truthfully, if you know, the word recession's floated out there a lot. Inflation, stagflation, all these fancy, economic terms. I don't know if we're going to see anything different than what we're seeing today. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: distressed real estate exists. So what do I look for? First of all, estate sales are my number one go-to purchase.
Okay.
I love when there's multiple family members involved and they're spread across the country, because the loss in their mind that they're taking is divided by X amount of people involved that are collecting that final proceeds check. Number one. Number two, I market towards them. We offer cash offer programs where we'll beat other investors by $2,500. We preach this on radio, AM radio. I'm a big advertiser on radio. Been doing radio ads since 2009. We incorporate through a company called Fellow, which I talked about when we met in Calgary. But Fellow is a way for people to hear about what their home's value is worth online. And they can make different adjustments to the property. They can make different, if they have a finished rec room, they can adjust it. It's not just sticking it's AI, but the key component is I'm getting and capturing the information. We're driving a lot of cash offers through that because we're seeing a lot of people Googling or listen to radio. And if they have a house they need sold, they want to at least know what it's worth before they start talking to investors or even real estate agents. So we're kind of a first in on that lead. So we can treat it one of two ways. We can come in, put our investor cap on, make them a cash offer, close in a week, or we can turn around and list it, represent them, and try to get them tippy top dollar on the market. So it gives us a twofold approach every single time. But the best deals I've ever had are estate sales, obviously divorce sales. Anytime the motivation level of that seller is a must sell with a deadline, there's opportunity. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity. And those are the deals that I've always focused on, whether I put niche marketing together to try to attract those folks, or I just made the purchases, on my own. It's always been distress sellers of some sort.
Okay.
Sorry, I need a little more.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, back in the recession years, 2007 through, I call it 2011.
Yeah, 12 here, because we're a little later in the Midwest, upper Midwest. We started in late and got out late.
Yeah. But those were actually my. If you look at statistically, those are my best years. So we did thousands of REOs.
Yep.
I mean, I hated the short sales, but we did some too, But a lot of them, honestly, we would just, we would offer cash because we could pull money out of our properties. And my clients, I taught them how to do this stuff too. And then we could offer cash. A lot of people, they're not really offering cash. Just be aware we're going to offer cash. Turns out it's somebody else's cash, so they're really borrowing the money. Yeah.
Right.
I was telling me. Cash offer means you have the cash now. Cash closing means you have the cash at closing. Cash offer. In any case, back to the main point here.
Yep.
We were going in. We were making half price offers and getting it accepted. I'm thinking, man, we should have went less. But
yeah, no.
So
hindsight, yeah.
I wanted to ask you too. So I appreciate you sharing that too. Divorces, estate sales. I did a couple of those too, but I never thought about it. The upside, because I bought one. There were 7 brothers and sisters, and they would never appoint somebody as the authorized signer. Each one of them had to show up to sign this, and everything just took forever. But I got a great deal. It was a 4-unit that I turned into a 5-unit.
Yep.
And doubled my money on the value in a couple of years. But So you mentioned property management. The reason this is important is it's the title of the podcast obviously is Massive Passive Cashflow Podcast. And in the book, Global Investor Agent, the book, it talks about the progression of building the business model that really serves the client in multiple ways. So you figured out, obviously, that you can manage. Your clients probably ask you, "Hey, Justin, can you manage these things for me too?" I used to
Right.
say no, and finally I realized, wait a minute, it's another line of business. But tell us a little bit about property management and how you benefit from that too, as far as the business model goes.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was a no-brainer, and it actually started out of the Great Recession because part of what we were coaching sellers to do, because first of all, you remember short sales took a lot of time, right? They took 12 months, 18 months, 20. I think we broke the record. We had one short sale took 4 years to get closed. Yeah, that crazy. But here's what happens, right? So this, most of the time the short sale, because people don't know what they don't know, I call it unconscious incompetence. A lot of people panic. They get behind in their mortgage. They're in foreclosure. What do? They move out. They take the bank's threatening phone calls and letters literally, when in reality, you're in a foreclosure protected state no matter where you are in the country. Wisconsin, we're a lot more liberal, a lot more forgiving for people who are in default. So therefore, being where we are, it takes a lot longer to foreclose. So what I started teaching clients is, hey, let's rent your house while you're not paying the mortgage. So it sounds crazy, it sounds illegal, but it's not. These folks were literally vacated the home, and we would rent it for them on a month-to-month lease, and we would turn around and collect the rent, pay them, take our management fee. Did my video stop?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So the management company was started based on that situation where I realized how much demand there was for single family homes and how much demand there was for renting those properties to somebody. And I already had the systems in place because I had my investment side of the game was already up and running with, dozens of other properties that we were managing in-house. So all it took was a quick flip of the switch, hire very few other people to take it by the bull by the horns. And now we have a full-fledged management company that services people all over the metro Milwaukee market.
Yeah. One of the things I love about it too is it's another funnel for your brokerage side of your business, because all those tenants,
it's a pillar. Yeah, it's a revenue.
Yeah, they have the revenue too on top of it. But the other thing too is we recognize all of the people you're dealing with in property management. The carpeting people, the cabinetry people, electricians, plumbers, roofers, inspectors, appraisers, lenders, attorneys, title guys. All those people become contacts, and you get to have personal contact information that goes into your database, and you can then help them buy and sell their own homes or investment properties. We met when we had our property. I had a big property management company too. We spent $0 on marketing because it was all word of mouth. I mean, it was very tribal. I met so many housing inspectors, like from the city. There were also investors on the side. And if you're doing a good job and you're honest with them, they actually were helpful. They didn't run you ragged. They say, hey, look, if you do this, I can use this code to help you get amazing, So
yeah, Gary, you kind of touched on something that is always reigned true and always been what I would call top of mind in my life. And that's relationships are giant. Okay. And I'll tell you right now, do you want to know a huge secret? Probably one of the only shortcuts I'd ever tell somebody, because I'm a true believer in there's no shortcuts in anywhere worth going. But there are some shortcuts that need to be spoken of. And one of the best shortcuts to building a relationship with someone is sending them a referral. My referral business is built on reciprocity. If I meet somebody that's in an industry that either I don't have a go-to, or even if I do, if I want to earn their respect, their friendship, their future business, I'm the one that's going to send them a customer or a client. And that reciprocity is unbelievable when you magnify it by dozens and dozens and dozens of people who you already know do business with you or don't do business with you yet. That's when you get somebody in front of them that they can make some money on, build a relationship with, because that continues to just pay dividends. And that's the shortcut I'd like to share with the listeners is you want to build a relationship, send a referral. Sounds so simple, but it's simple brilliance that gets overlooked. And that's where I really built a fortune with higher end, higher net worth individuals in particular. You mentioned lawyers and dentists, and you send them a referral of a client, you're going to be buddies with them real quick because they respect that.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is you're leading with contribution, and it's an excellent way to not only build but maintain, basically nurture a good, healthy relationship. And you're absolutely right. For everybody listening out there, especially if you're a real estate agent listening to this, I'm telling you, you're getting some really golden nuggets from Justin here. And the one that I liked is, giving out referrals, leading from contribution. And making the relationship number one, because if you have the relationship, the income, the revenue is going to flow. And what happens is the income you make, the revenue you make is really a reflection of how well you're doing in building and maintaining your business. And if you focus on the relationship, the business structure itself is going to come organically. It's going to build organically based on the relationships that you build. So actually, let's talk about the agents for a minute. So we're, obviously there's been a slowdown in volume once the pandemic hype slowed down and interest rates started going up. Agents are looking, what can I do? Where can I get business now? What's one or two of your go-to simple techniques, like, hey, you know what? Some people call it, shaking the tree, which is just start calling your sphere. There's other things. I know agents that do open houses for other agents and they get business that way. Do you have anything like that you can think of to help our agents out? Because I want them to be confident in themselves and have faith. Because I'm telling you, I think Goldman Sachs says it too. We think 2026 is going to be an excellent year for us. So, but back to the question, what's a couple of things you tell your guys that helps them out,
Well, that's and we just started talking about that because if I don't know when this goes live, but obviously we're in October, we're in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but it will give you what you earn from it, right? So if you work hard. Now, what are we doing? We run a contest every fourth quarter. I love the fourth quarter because I want to finish strong, right? I want my last 3 months of the year to be amazing. So we finish, in the black, beating last year. Always put a focus on beating last year. But most importantly, it sets the tone and gets you ready for that first quarter. Now, we're in the upper Midwest, cold weather, snow comes, so things are a little bit tougher and, people have more excuses. But now with our team, I contest the heck out of them. So here's what we're running as a contest right now. Number one, you got to make at least 25 contacts or attempts at contacts every single day, 5 days a week, 125 people you got to reach out to. Now, those are people that you've already spoken to, already showed a house to, or have never spoken to. Those are the most important people. They're what I call they haven't done business with you yet people. Okay, those people need to be touched every single day. And I set the bar pretty low, I think, Gary, at 25 per person on the team per day, 5 days a week. Most important above that, I would say, is another person that you need to contact is you need to talk to not just your sphere of influence, but your past clients.
Yeah.
A real easy reach out is to just reach out to them via text. It's harmless. It's easy. Yeah. They may or may not respond. The most important thing is you need to reach out to at least 10 people you've done business with every single day, 5 days a week in the fourth quarter. This builds that pipeline. This builds that top of mind consciousness. This, most importantly, this builds a relationship that also turns into dialogue. Dialogue turns into, hey, by the way, Do you know anybody that's thinking about making a move in the next few months? So now you're going into the referral-based thing, but it's nonchalant. Your initial reaction or your initial reach out to your past client, to your database of people you know, sphere of influence, is not who do you know that's going to make a move. It's how are things going with the home I sold you 3 years ago? Do you need anything getting into the winter months in terms of contractors? I vetted everybody, and I have somebody that can do anything and everything you need. You need anything, you reach out to me. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. Boom. That's your message, is you want to give them something of value, which is a good contractor going into winter. Another thing you can do is people that you've closed with in these last 12 months, and maybe you didn't get a review. We love reviews. Google Team Hoffman in Milwaukee. You'll see we've got almost 800 5-star Google reviews.
Nice.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's the biggest game changer has been realizing how heavily people look at Google reviews. It's beyond anything I ever thought. We just listed one yesterday. It's going to go live tomorrow. I literally showed up. The guy handed me the keys, and he goes, "Wow, you've got the best reviews I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I'm in a really tight spot with time. I just found out. Here are the keys. Tell me what you think, and I'll just do what you tell me." And that was the appointment.
Nice.
So when you build that reputation online with good reviews, that's gonna pay dividends. But you need to reach out to your past clients and ask for it. And those are probably the two biggest things that we're running a contest on right now. Is number one, reviewed agent, and attempted contacts to your database. Those are humongous, and they pay dividends. It's a contact sport. The more people you talk to, guess what? The more houses you're going to show them. So we track that too. Obviously, how many houses you're showing every single week, because I'm a huge believer in just show, shake hands and show, build a relationship, get some rapport going, and that'll turn into a transaction. And just being aggressive. If you sit back and wait for your phone to ring, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna get real bored and real poor. And people who aren't aggressive and who don't make reach outs to their database, they have skinny kids. They say, Gary, real skinny kids.
Yeah. What's interesting is you mentioned as a contact sport, you have to actually be with people. The direct communication, on the phone is better than anything else online, but the next best thing or the better thing is to be in person. And my fear with all that's happened with the pandemic, everybody relying on Zoom 100 times more than we did before. And I'm not against it. I use it in my business because I got agents in 38 states. But I think people use it as a substitute for the real thing. So you have to actually reach out and be with people at a minimum on the phone with some type of regularity. So, hey, what I'm going to do to kind of wrap this up, Justin, this has been awesome, by the way, and a lot of fun, is I want to talk a little bit about Milwaukee. Is it still a great place to invest? I do believe it is, but people have choices because now with all the information and technology, they can invest anywhere. But why Milwaukee? And more importantly, how can people get a hold of you? Because I know my clients, they struggle finding agents like you and I that know how to work with them, and the team members on my team. Most agents are not trained to work with investors. They're not in the residential world. But touch on Milwaukee a little bit from that perspective, and then let everybody know how they can get a hold of you and your team members to help them, do some business in Milwaukee.
Yeah, real quick snippet. I'm a born and raised 414 Milwaukee boy. So I'm a little biased, but I think Milwaukee is, and I've been all over the country just like Gary, all over. And I think we're one of the most underrated cities in the country. If you know anything about Chicago, you look north, we're literally 85 miles north, but we are far less expensive, far less taxed. We have just as much upside to our real estate as Chicago does at a fraction of the cost. You have suburban markets just outside of Milwaukee that are only 30 minutes from downtown. A lot of people live out there, commute downtown for work. We have one of the best casinos in town. I'm a big gambler, Sorry, Gary, there it is. But we have a casino that they just spent, tens of $millions renovating it at a hotel. Obviously, we've got the Bucks. Obviously, we got the Brewers, where I'm going tonight to watch them. But it's in my opinion, and we mentioned this earlier before, it's a baby, minuscule Chicago at a fraction of the cost, with all of the same upsides from restaurants to accommodations. Very easy to commute to and from downtown to the suburbs. And the tax base outside of the county of Milwaukee is even better with really high ranked schools. So Milwaukee County, the metro market, which I would call southeastern Wisconsin, is a fantastic place to invest your money in for both a return on investment in terms of an equity position, because I still think we're on our way up we're up on the way up here big time, and cash flow is obviously fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. So you mentioned the Hoffman team .net. So guys, if you want to, Team Hoffman.
teamhoffman.net. Google Justin Hoffman, Team Hoffman, Google it, social media. I don't really do a ton of it, but we have people that do it. You'll be able to get information, get in front of us. Our phone number is 414-897-0098. It's 414-897-0098. But if you take to the internet, Google around, mess around, you'll be able to find me, and I'd love to talk to you. Love to get your ideas too, share some things, because again, these relationships are what build everything we have for the future of our businesses, and you cultivate those every single week and month and year, and it pays dividends for decades to come. Yeah,
and you also use, by the way, you mentioned Fellow, but you have another site. It's WI, for Wisconsin.
Yeah, so Fellow. Yeah, so Fellow's the name of the company that started that artificial intelligence evaluation, but WI Home Eval, Wisconsin, wihomeeval.com. That's our personal branded site that funnels all the leads through Fellow, which is how people get a hold of us. And if you guys, you're listening, you just want to know what your home is worth in today's market, you literally go to WI Home Eval, type your address in, you can tweak some things, tell us about it, whatever you want to do to perfect your value. It'll spit out your value. And I'm telling you, it's as close. It's the best automated AI home evaluation tool I've seen in a long time. It's no Zestimate, that's for sure. It takes a lot in consideration, and it's pretty damn accurate.
Yeah. I know I could probably get in trouble for saying this, but I never liked the Zestimates from Zillow. Right from the beginning, I knew there was a problem, and what it was is they weren't cleaning up old data. They were leaving it out there, and I'll stop there. But WI Home Eval, guys.
WI Home Eval, yep.
Yeah, plug it in, guys. Use it. For everybody listening, just remember, Justin Hoffman's the man. It's 2 F's and 2 N's in Hoffman. So teamhoffman.net, and then wihomeeval.com, and the phone number, area code 414. Number is 897-0098. Does that get that correct?
You got it right, Gary. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, listen, Justin, I appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate you listeners for listening, or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we put the full recordings out there too. Leave a review, man. We love your reviews. Your reviews are what make the podcast world go around, because we don't actually get paid to do this. It's relationship building, like Justin was talking about. It's helping you. It's community oriented. You get to get some great content from people you might not otherwise meet. You just met one of the best people that I've ever met, and he's in Milwaukee. It's another one of the best places to invest. So you got the best of both worlds here. So listen, everybody, take care of yourselves. God bless you and all your loved ones, and we will see you on the next Massive Passive Cashflow Podcast.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Massive Passive Cashflow. Be sure to go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.